had some questions come in from correcting Aba Al Sadiq, the video that we released not too long ago. And so the question is about the 6 covenants mentioned in the Quran. This was a singular covenant between Yahweh Allah and his chosen ones amongst mankind. Okay? Adam to Noah, and then Shem, and then Abraham, and then Israel. Okay? And all of the prophets have come from this line. There's only been one covenant, and it has continued through the generations. Okay? And so through the generations, as the generations failed and new generations arose, he reestablishes his covenant again with those who are faithful. But there is no multiplicitous covenants. There's a single covenant. In the house of Israel, in the Ummah of Islam, are one. We are unified under this one covenant. So he says in his questioning, so how do we explain that the Quran and the Bible emphasize the establishment of several covenants if there's only one? He gave for an example, then he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, saying, drink of it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. First of all, we know that this is one of the inventions of the New Testament, because nowhere in the Bible do we find that human sacrifice or anything like it was acceptable to Yahweh Allah in the covenant religion. Okay? If we go to Matthew chapter 5, it confirms to us that this was not a covenant, but indeed an innovation. Okay? Nothing but an innovation. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Let me get there. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law. This is Yeshua speaking, Isa. Or the prophets. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I tell you, until heaven and earth disappear, not the smallest letter, nor the least stroke of a pen will by any means disappear from the law until everything's been accomplished. Therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commandments, talking about the Torah, and teaches others accordingly, he will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands, the Torah, will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. He says, for I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. Okay? So there's only one covenant. And all this drinking of blood and eating of flesh has nothing to do with the covenant that Yeshua confirmed, because blood sacrifice and drinking and eating blood has nothing to do with any covenant relationship with Yahweh Allah. Now, we find blood drinking and human sacrifice in pagan religions. Okay, we find that some of our ancestors participated in these pagan practices, but these don't have anything to do with the religion of Yahweh Allah. Okay, so you come with faulty scriptures. Okay. You bring Matthew 26, 27 through 29 in the mix. It has nothing to do with the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The covenant that Moses and Yeshua and Muhammad practiced. Because Moses was a practicer of Torah. Yeshua was a practicer of Torah. The prophets were practicers of Torah, those who came after Moses. Okay? And Muhammad was a practicer of the Torah, the single covenant. We'll go and add this one thing and close this one out. 6 and 159 of the Quran tells us this about all these covenants and all these people that want to come creating and innovating new covenants and incorrectly interpreting the word. He says, Inna ladina farraqu dinahum wa kanu shi'an. He says, Lasta minhum fi sha'in, aynama amruhum ila Allah, thumma yunabiyuhum bima kanu yafaluna. As for those who divide their religion and break up into sects, you want to establish all these different covenants and all these made up words? and break up into sex, he says, thou hast no part in them in the least. Their affair is with Yahweh Allah, and he will in the end tell them the truth of all that they did. We only recognize one covenant. Okay, Yahweh Allah is not the Allah of confusion. One covenant, one house of prophecy, that is the house of Israel, one law. Okay, and everybody who's claiming to worship the God of Abraham, and you're not keeping the Torah, the law, you're not living by the word of the prophets, or you've innovated some word of the prophets and added, the book already tells you your fate and your reality. So we won't even go into that. But this clears up what about the 6 covenants. There's only one covenant. It was referred to 6 times in your Quran, according to what you're putting here. When the covenant was mentioned, it was one covenant. And the blood drinking and the flesh eating, that was made up and has nothing to do with Yahweh Allah and nothing to do with Torah practice. So we also find it mentioned in Hadith. He says, there will be Dajjals, liars, and antichrists among my community. They will tell you something new, which neither you nor your forefathers have heard. Be on your guard against them and do not let them lead you astray. I'm out.
I keep my eye on the. I keep my. I keep my eye on the. I keep my.
I keep feeling so.
I keep my eye on the. I keep my.
I keep feeling so.